able to get up, and Eddie Cook, a guy we originally saw at the Olympic Festival, you and I just back a couple of weeks ago from doing that, watching that competition. This young man won the Olympic Festival a couple times on ESPN, once at least, and he has looked very impressive as a pro, though he tends to get into those kind of brawls where somebody could knock him down and did.
Yeah, now he's going to have to answer that question, because now that he's been knocked down, everybody, of course, is going to say, well, yeah, but what about his chin?
Yeah, they forget that he got up.
That's true, and knocked a man out in the same round, I believe it was. Let's go to Michael Buffer, meet him officially.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we go to the bantamweight division. This bout is scheduled for 4 rounds, and the referee is Carlos Padilla. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, he's wearing the black trunks and weighs an even 121 pounds. Fighting out of Oxnard, California, he brings a professional record of 5-2 with 1 KO to his credit. Let's welcome John Ramirez. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the white trunks with red trim, he weighs an even 119 pounds. Originally from St. Louis, Missouri, he now fights out of Las Vegas, Nevada, and he's undefeated as a professional with a record of 6-0, all by knockout victory. Introducing Eddie Cook.
Okay. Left out potato? Okay, you will already given instructions in respective dressing room. Avoid using any kinds of foul. Any questions? Seconds come out 5.
There was a look at Eddie Cook, and Eddie, a guy very serious about this business. According to Kenny Adams, trains harder than anybody at the Golden Glove or the Gloves gym. And meanwhile, in the other corner, John Ramirez. Ramirez 5-2 in his professional record from Oxnard, California. State amateur champion in the state of California back in 1987.
And one of the rare times you will see 2 southpaws in the professional ranks. Though down at that Olympic Festival, we saw this 3 or 4 times.
A bunch of them.
And by the way, how did you get a couch? And I didn't get a couch. When you did the figure skating down there, you had Judy Slasky and Misha. Who'd you do with it?
Misha Petkovic.
Misha Petkovic, yes.
Well, everybody has a couch.
Forget that for a moment, because already Ramirez is down from a jab.
We're talking about a couch, and he takes a seat.
Yes.
7, 8, okay?
Well,
it's not good to go down from a jab in the first round.
Keep the commercials queued up, folks.
Yeah.
Say that, say that.
That
We're
is
going to call out another knockdown.
6, 7, 8.
And Eddie Cook is saying, okay, whatever you want to start.
Yeah.
So one more knockdown, and we're going to be telling you about baseball on ESPN.
And Cook is landing some very solid jabs here.
Eddie Cook trying to work the jab a little bit. Really, I'm throwing that left hand. Misses with that one.
And you know, that second knockdown, even though he did nail him, that one could be questionable. You might say, well, it was more of a slip.
The right hand by Ramirez that he got there.
Eddie Cook is throwing, my old buddy Gil Clancy, who you know from work on other networks, that says he's throwing punches with bad intentions.
That's right.
One of Gil's great lines, and I'm not too proud to steal it. Please give him credit.
And Customato might have said that also.
Possibly, yes. I mean, he is throwing some wicked shots, Eddie Cook, and even the ones that just missed, you get the feeling they could end this bout.
Quick hands, too, on the part of Eddie Cook. I've always really liked Eddie Cook, both personally and professionally.
He's a dedicated young man and works hard at it. Now, Ramirez is throwing some very good shots here. It's just that Cook is showing good defense, and Ramirez not able to get in with those punches.
Eddie Cook much quicker at getting his punches off. As you can see, Ramirez throws these looping punches. Ramirez will be very happy to get this round over with. Good right hand by Ramirez.
Now, if I was Eddie Cook, I think in this last minute I would have been doing anything to try and push him off balance, rumble with him, anything to get that third knockdown. Who knows? Maybe you might get a gimme. They might score a knockdown on something that's only a half knockdown.
Which you could make a case for on the second knockdown. Good body shot by Eddie Cook. Well, I'll tell you what, at the end of that round, Eddie Cook took a couple shots.
And this man righted himself very well.
In Ramirez's corner, Andres Sanchez and Jesse Moran.
Here's the first knockdown, which, if I'm not mistaken, was from a jab. Yes, it was. And, you know, that could have been partially the fact that Ramirez was just tight, not quite ready. Here's the second knockdown. We'll get a chance to see if we really think it was a knockdown. It was called a knockdown. Nope, I wouldn't. Oh, definitely not.
I didn't see anything that resembled a punch there.
No, that was definitely a shove, and
He's winging. Catch counters.
Okay, remember that, huh?
Now, interestingly enough, in our punch profile numbers, it was Ramirez who got more power shots in than Eddie Cook did, 18-9.
And primarily because in the last minute of that round, Ramirez did quite well.
Oftentimes you see what my old partner Sugar Ray Leonard used to call a flash knockdown, and that's really, I think, what it was. Their second one was not a knockdown.
No, and the first one was just that.
Here are the total numbers in the first round, and they're comparable.
You know, it's interesting. I ended up giving Cook that round even a 2-point because those knockdowns. Oh,
Ramirez jumped right on him, and Cook has to cover up.
Those are powerful right hooks being thrown by Ramirez.
Now, if Ramirez wasn't into this fight at the beginning, he is now. Only one knockout in Ramirez's 5 victories. Good body shot by Cook.
And Ramirez took this bout on only 3 days' notice, so he is stepping in here quickly. I'll tell you, the jab.
Good left hand by Cook. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay, and it followed the left jab. It was really the second part of the point there.
Also, Ramirez seems to be doing better when he's at long range, and he seems to be more in the range of Eddie Cook in this round.
Cook getting there with that left hand. Eddie Cook is quicker with the jab right now than Ramirez, and that's primarily the difference.
Good uppercut by Cook.
Eddie Cook will be in exciting bouts for all of his pro career, which is good for the fans, maybe not so good for he and his corner.
Very quick hands and very strong puncher, but he takes a few also, and there's a low blow.
They are both wailing away in this round. I give Ramirez credit. He has taken some big shots, and Eddie Cook's a good puncher.
Yes.
Combinations. You can see Eddie Cook's a well-schooled boxer.
A little holding and hitting there. Let's see if Padilla doesn't tell him about that. A lot of action. Eddie Cook took a little slap at him while he had his arm wrapped around him, and that's the way the second round is going to end.
Using the straight left hand after the jab, and that's a really good indication of what he's done best in this bout.
I actually think Eddie Cook, probably somewhere inside him, is almost happy that this fight has gone as far as it has into the third round. I know Eddie told me a couple fights ago he'd really like to get a fight where he does get some work. And he's having to work here. Punches in the second round. Cook throwing more, landing more, and winning the round. It's just that simple.
Varied his attack to the body and the head as well. Threw some very nice body punches.
Got there with a right hand, but took a right hand from Ramirez.
And that's one of the things I like about our punch profile. And I mean this without having it sound facetious or whatever. Body punches count, and it should count. There you see my scoring. I gave the first round to Cook by 2, even though he ended up not landing as many punches because he had the 2 knockdowns. Ramirez thought he was hit low.
Yes, he did, and he walked away from there. Eddie Cook jumped on him.
That's what you're supposed to do. Carlos Padilla did not call a stop in the action, so if you're Eddie Cook, you should do that.
Good left hand by Cook. That drives Ramirez into the ropes, and a good body shot behind it.
I'll tell you what. I think that Ramirez is a very tough guy. He took some shot there, and he regained his composure when he could have gone down.
That was a huge shot.
Ramirez is a tough guy.
Downstairs and then upstairs, the right hand by Cook. And he's going to take a point away for a low blow is Carlos Padilla. I believe he took a point away.
Yes, he did.
There's a huge left hand, and that dropped him. The right hand set it up, and the left hand just crashed in behind him.
6, 7, 8. Are we okay?
All right. Boy, that was a big shot. He's taken a couple of huge shots in this
Tremendous
round.
combination.
Combination again, and down he goes, and that's it. Carlos Padilla won't even bother to count. Well, I'll tell you what, you could say a lot about Eddie Cook, but one thing you can never say about him is that this man can't punch.
And as you look at John Ramirez, who went farther than anyone else has gone with Eddie Cook, a small consolation. Cook had knocked everyone out in 2 or 1 rounds. He took a pounding, this guy. John Ramirez was very tough. He had his moments offensively as well, but just couldn't match Eddie Cook in terms of power or punching speed.
And the other thing you got to like about Eddie Cook is rarely do you ever see him throw one punch.
And that's what created that first knockdown, and then, of course, eventually led to the second. He threw good combinations, and here we'll get a look at that first knockdown.
Right hand and a left right behind it.
There's the hook and the straight left hand. And as you said, he doesn't just stop with the one punch. He'll always throw another behind it. Then this is where it ended. Tremendous hook. And again, it's the same combination, in effect. It's just that the right hook did more damage than the left hand, unlike the first sequence. And from yet another angle, because we'll do anything to show you the best action possible, there's the right hook and the straight left hand.
Amazing. Same punches. Let's make it official. Here's Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Carlos Padilla stops this bout at 2 minutes, 10 seconds of the 3rd round. The winner by TKO, his record now 7-0, 7 KOs from Las Vegas, Eddie Cook.
So Eddie Cook is the winner once again. He has the glove off. He's had perennial hand problems also, and you can't help but wonder if he didn't damage himself a little more. But it's a W. We'll be back. Time now for Ringside Report, a weekly magazine of boxing news. Brought to you tonight by Ace Hardware Corporation. Ace is the place. Well, we start with a news item. This just in. The fight has been postponed. That is the Douglas Holyfield fight, and it's going to be off for 5 weeks because Douglas has a little throat problem.
Yeah, allegedly. Are you suggesting that we don't normally have news items on this show? You're right. In this case, this is just in. Buster Douglas will be fighting on October 25th against Evander Holyfield. Allegedly, the reason because of his bronchitis. We don't know all the details yet on this. There may be some money changing hands between Steve Wynn and Lou Duva, or Dan Duva, the main events people, before this is all over. What it boils down to is Steve Wynn has his chance for some extra time to promote this bout, which he may need because he's already spent about $12 million in terms of the money he had to pay Don King and court costs and all the rest. So for Steve Wynn, this extra time in promoting will really help him.
Yeah, they're talking about October 25th as the date of the fight. Now, this is all seriously just happened in the last couple of hours, so we will try to sort it all out for you as time goes on. Who are the winners and who are the losers here? Who's going to win money and who's going to lose money?
Well, if you look at it purely from a financial standpoint, Steve Wynn is already into this fight for a lot of money. It's going to be very difficult, I think, for him to pull the rabbit out of the hat and make a lot of money with this fight, but he may, because I sense that people are curious about who's going to win between Buster Douglas and Holyfield. Are they as curious as they would be if he was fighting Tyson or Foreman? Probably not, but I do think that the one thing Evander Holyfield has done, and you have to give him credit, he's established himself as a fighting heavyweight who's out there fighting everybody, who has only been in exciting bouts. So I think any boxing fan looking back, sitting back and looking at this has to say it's going to be a very entertaining match.
Well, let's sit back and look at a fight that took place over the weekend, and it was an entertaining fight. Buddy McGirt, another one of those guys, seems like Buddy McGirt has been around for about 120 years, doesn't it? But he's still there, and he's still fighting, and more importantly, he's still winning.
Yeah, and now he's in the welterweight division, hungering for a welterweight
matchup. He wanted Mark Breland until Mark Breland lost. Now you see him against Jose Bermudez, just taking the match to Bermudez, landing that big right hand, showing that he has punching power in winning a decision in the welterweight division.
So Buddy McGirt is a winner over Bermudez, and things move on for him. September 22nd, fight night in Atlantic City. That will be Mike Tyson fighting Alex Stewart. But, and here's the big but, both figuratively and literally, I guess.
No.
George Foreman is not going to be on that card.
I'm so glad you said that and not me, and I mean that. In this case, George Foreman is off that September 22nd card. There was much talk that he would fight Francesco Damiani, who has the coveted WBO World Championship right now. Instead, it will be a very entertaining matchup between Mike Tyson and Alex Stewart, a match which many people think Stewart represents quite a threat to Tyson, but we'll see George Foreman, as you'll see in our boxing guide before then, but they're looking for a big match for Foreman next time out.
Let's take a look at that boxing guide then. What's down the road in the sport of boxing? And it's the most interesting road, actually. Some good fights upcoming. This one in particular, we'll talk a little bit more about this fight. Jeff Harding and Dennis Andres. Now, this is a rematch. It takes place this Saturday down in Melbourne, Australia, but remember the last fight?
Boy, the last time out, Dennis Andres just dominated Harding over 11 rounds. This is typical of the action. And Andres had his number. He had him bloodied. He had him in trouble. But Harding, a very tough guy, just wouldn't go down. And then finally, in the 12th round, Dennis Andres started to show all of his 36 years, got very, very tired, was put down a couple of times, and really, Barry, ended up losing his fight from exhaustion.
Yeah, he was 36 years old then. Now we're talking a year later. Now he's 37, and he's fighting down in Australia. Jeff Harding, of course, is going to have 15,000 people there screaming for him.
That will make it a lot tougher.
So that fight coming up this Saturday down in Melbourne. On Sunday, the IBF light flyweight title. We talked about what a hotspot Phoenix is in the sport of boxing. Michael Carbajal, of course, the native son. He will fight Mungchai Kittikesum for the IBF light flyweight title. That's this Sunday, July 29th. Interesting fight, I think.
Very, very interesting. Kittikesum is a great boxer.
And Kennedy McKinney also on that card against Joe Martinez. That'll take place in Phoenix. Featherweight, of course, Kennedy McKinney coming back from a bigger battle than just in the ring, but coming back strongly. And speaking of George Foreman, as we were, Ken LaCusta will be the opponent, the immortal Ken LaCusta and his dance band. Tuesday, July 31st. They will fight in Edmonton, Alberta, instead of on September 22nd on the same card with Mike Tyson. And then finally, 1 week from now, we will be in South Bend, Indiana, junior welterweight. Harold Brazier, I know he's one of your favorite fighters, fighting Anthony Stevens. That's 1 week from tonight, this Thursday, in South Bend. Harold Brazier, a guy just never seems to go away. He's there all the time, isn't he?
Harold Brazier is the blue-collar worker of boxing. He's a junior welterweight who's never won a world title. He's had 2 chances, and he's the kind of guy you don't have favorites here, and we really don't, but you have to root for him because he's such a good guy.
Let me ask you your feeling before we jump off the track completely of fights upcoming of the Dennis Andres-Jeff Harding fight.
Well, you know, you hit on it when you said that he is a year older and that is going to be a problem for Dennis Andres, but I'll tell you what, I can't get out of my mind how completely he dominated Harding until toward the end of the 11th round in that match. I think if Dennis Andres really gets himself in as good shape as he can